Okay, this is a tutorial video for how to take a toner copied image or toner printed image and transfer it into a sketchbook or on another drawing surface. Two things that have to be done in order for this process to work. The first is it has to be a toner-based print or a toner-based copy. It won't work if it's a laser jet or if it's an inkjet. It has to be toner-based because the toner is actually what transfers over. The second is you have to use the Chartpak brand blending marker because the solvent in this is the only one that will work to dissolve the toner onto the page. So what I'm doing is I have a drawing that I have done out of charcoal, and it's a nice drawing, and I want to get it put in my sketchbook. A couple reasons I didn't do the drawing in the sketchbook is charcoal gets really messy inside a sketchbook. It always smears, and so it'd be nice to have the drawing in there, but I don't want to have the mess of the charcoal. So first thing I did was I scanned it into the computer and flipped it so that the image is mirror of what it would be, just so that this transfer works and makes it match the drawing. Some copiers will actually have that feature built into them, or you can just leave it as a regular copy and have the flipped image. So I'm going to flip it over first and get it in the right place, okay, about the center of the page. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of tape and tape just a little bit of the top of the copy, and that way it's held nice and still and I don't have to worry about it moving, and that way it'll line up when I'm doing the transfer. Okay, so I have it in the right place. I'm happy with the placement, so I'm just going to start transferring over. So like I said, this is the Chartpak blending marker. It's just a clear solvent. It's xylol, or it's called xylene in some places. And I'm just going to draw on the back of the image with the marker. And you want to push fairly hard, but you don't want to push too hard with the marker, because that puts a lot of solvent on the page and then it makes things a little bit messy. So just going to color across there, and then about every 4 to 6 square inches I'm going to come over it with a bone folder, or if you don't have a bone folder, a metal spoon works really well, and just kind of rub over the top of where I've already copied to make sure that the toner gets fully transferred on to the page. So I work in areas. I don't want to do the whole thing all at once because it will not work as well as if you do short bursts and then come back and push over the top. You kind of want to always go back and retrace where you've already drawn just to keep it wet, especially if you're moving on to a new area, and then always come back with your bone folder or spoon and just smooth over the top, pushing down fairly hard to just try and get that to transfer over. So just going to continue. I like to have 2 markers just so that they're both pretty fresh. The markers tend to dry out a little bit, and then they put the cap back on them and the moisture evens out on the inside. So I like to work with a couple different markers. The bad thing about this process, well, it can be a bad thing, is these markers are expensive. They're about $5 each, and they really don't last long doing this process because you go through a lot of the solvent, but you can refill them if you get the right solvent and just take the tops off. You can see a video also on this channel on how to refill the markers. It's pretty simple. Just kind of going along, doing a little area, and you can see that the ink shows up through the back when you color over it, and that's nice, of course, because you can see where you've already drawn. You do want to do this in a very well ventilated area because this solvent has some pretty strong fumes. Not the most healthy thing to breathe in without interruption. Just going over and smoothing it out again continuously, keeping it nice and smooth. Okay, so after you're done, you can lift it up and see how the transfer went. Sometimes it comes out really good and perfect and it looks exactly like the image, and sometimes it's a little shaky, a little sketchy. That's part of the beauty of the process. It certainly works great for transferring a drawing over. Saves you a lot of headache of drawing. If you've done a drawing, you want to put it on something else to um, uh, color or paint over it. That's a great process. One other tip I forgot to mention is you want to have some kind of sheet underneath the page that you're doing, just to kind of keep things from bleeding through, and that will make your picture look a lot, or your paper a lot better when you're done. And then when you're finished doing the copy, you kind of want to take this paper and just throw it away. It's going to smell pretty strongly, so I usually take that outside to an outside garbage can to throw it away. So there's the process. Hopefully that is a tool that can be useful for you.